The Young and the Restless spoilers Billy's dilemma, love, secrets, and the shadow of the past. Billy had always dreamed of finding a complete, all-encompassing love, a relationship built on trust, passion, and mutual understanding. For years, his heart had yearned for the kind of bond that would see him through life's challenges and fill his days with warmth and purpose. When he met Sally, there was an undeniable spark, a gentle, compassionate side of her that made Billy see a future full of promise. Yet, beneath that delicate facade, Billy sensed that there was more to Sally than met the eye. Determined not to be blinded by infatuation, he embarked on a secret investigation into her true nature. The awakening of caution. Billy's journey had not been an easy one. In the past, he had once been a man swept away by the torrents of passionate, reckless love, one that left him vulnerable to pain and regret. Those days of headlong romantic abandon were over. Now, Billy was careful, methodical, and steadfast in his personal principles. He had learned that a complete love was not simply about the fiery intensity of a relationship but also about understanding, acceptance, and, most importantly, trust. In his quieter moments of introspection, Billy recalled his younger self, the one who had risked everything on wild, impulsive emotions, only to face devastating consequences. With those memories serving as a constant reminder, he had resolved never to repeat the same mistakes. Instead, he focused on building a foundation that could withstand the inevitable trials of life. In Sally, he saw a glimmer of the person he longed to be with, a woman whose gentle demeanor, warmth, and inherent kindness spoke of a promising future. Yet, he also knew that appearances could be deceiving, and so he decided to delve deeper into her past. Uncovering the layers of Sally's past. Billy's investigation into Sally's history revealed a narrative that was both complex and tumultuous. Once, in the bustling, rebellious atmosphere of Los Angeles, Sally had lived a life far removed from the gentle, trustworthy image she now projected. Back then, she had been known as a wild spirit, someone who defied conventions, stirred up trouble, and left a trail of chaos in her wake. Her rebellious phase was marked not only by personal misadventures but also by incidents that had affected her family, her relationships, and even her marital status. Rumors of strained bonds, broken promises, and a series of impulsive decisions painted a picture of a woman grappling with her inner demons. The depth of Sally's past was startling. She had been entangled in complicated relationships, some of which were marked by reckless abandon and others by an intense, if misguided, passion. There were whispers of emotional entanglements that seemed to border on the irrational, a series of decisions that, while perhaps born out of youthful impulsiveness, had left scars and complicated legacies. Billy, upon discovering these details, felt a profound shock and pain. The more he learned, the more he questioned whether the Sally he knew was truly capable of the complete love he had always envisioned. A heart divided, the conflict of emotion and logic. The revelations about Sally's past forced Billy into a deep internal conflict. On one hand, he cherished the gentle, considerate side of her, the side that had drawn him in with its promise of trust and mutual respect. This was the Sally who was soft-spoken, empathetic, and capable of loving with an intensity that could transform ordinary moments into lifelong memories. On the other hand, the shadows of her former life loomed large, threatening to undermine the future he had hoped to build with her. Billy grappled with a painful question: should he allow the ghosts of Sally's past to dictate the course of their relationship? Was it fair to hold her accountable for actions and choices made in a different time and under different circumstances? After all, every person carries a history, some chapters are darker than others, and many are written in the ink of youthful mistakes and heartache. Yet, the shock of learning about Sally's turbulent past was undeniable. It challenged Billy to reconcile the woman he was falling for with the person she once was. The weight of judgment versus the promise of change. In the solitude of his private reflections, Billy questioned whether Sally deserved to be condemned for her past. Should the missteps of earlier days, filled with rebellious fervor and chaotic decisions, define her for all time? Or could those experiences, painful as they might have been, serve as the crucible for her transformation? Billy realized that people are not static, they grow, they change, and sometimes, the most remarkable journeys are those where one rises above the mistakes of the past. The paradox was poignant. While Sally's past was undeniably tumultuous, it was also, in many ways, a testament to the trials she had endured and the battles she had fought to become the person she was today. Billy recognized that her earlier escapades were chapters in a story of transformation, a story that had, perhaps, led her to the gentleness and vulnerability that now shone through. He reminded himself that love, in its truest form, is an acceptance of both light and shadow. It is about understanding the entirety of a person, not just the parts that are easy to embrace. A call for patience and understanding. Determined to navigate these turbulent emotional waters with wisdom and care, Billy resolved that he must remain calm and measured. His secret investigation was not meant to condemn Sally, but to understand her fully, to see beyond the surface and into the depths of her experiences. He promised himself that he would never allow fear or judgment to cloud his perception. Instead, he would give Sally the benefit of the doubt, recognizing that every person is a work in progress. Billy knew that the path forward required patience. He could not rush into decisions fueled solely by the pain of revelation. Instead, he needed time to witness Sally's continued evolution, time to see whether her present actions truly reflected the promise of change that he hoped they did. He reminded himself that while the past might be indelible, it does not have to dictate the future. If Sally was genuinely striving to leave behind the chaos of her earlier years and cultivate a life of stability, kindness, and love, then perhaps the complete love he had longed for was still within reach. The strength of a steadfast heart. As Billy pondered these profound questions, he resolved to be steadfast in his commitment to both love and truth. He recognized that true love required a balance of passion and prudence, of embracing vulnerability while safeguarding one's heart from the perils of unbridled emotion. He vowed to never repeat the mistakes of his past self, to remain vigilant in his pursuit of understanding, and to never allow the revelations of yesterday to overshadow the possibilities of tomorrow. In the quiet moments of reflection, Billy began to see that Sally, with all her complexities, was not a fixed character defined solely by her history. She was a dynamic, evolving individual, a mosaic of experiences that included both pain and promise. His heart, though heavy with the knowledge of her past, still held space for the hope of a future built on mutual respect, trust, and an unyielding commitment to change. The road ahead, love in the midst of uncertainty. Now, standing at the crossroads of emotion and logic, Billy faced one of the most challenging decisions of his life. Should he continue to pursue a relationship with Sally, embracing the possibility that her turbulent past was merely a precursor to a brighter, more stable future? Or should the weight of her previous missteps, the echoes of a life lived in reckless abandon, drive him away from the love he had so long sought? For Billy, the answer was not immediately clear. The path ahead was shrouded in uncertainty, and every step would require careful consideration and unyielding courage. Yet, in the depths of his conflicted soul, he found a quiet determination, a resolve to trust in the power of redemption and the promise of human transformation. He knew that love was not a simple equation, nor was it a linear journey. It was a tapestry woven from the threads of joy, sorrow, hope, and regret, and its beauty lay in its complexity. In the end, Billy decided that the future of his relationship with Sally would depend not on the ghosts of the past but on the choices they made together in the present. He committed to giving her the chance to show that the woman he had come to cherish was not bound by the mistakes of her earlier years. Instead, he would focus on the gentle, compassionate soul that had emerged, a soul that, despite the shadows of rebellion and chaos, was capable of deep, abiding love. A promise to embrace change. As Billy moved forward with cautious optimism, he made a silent promise to himself. He would never allow the bitterness of past mistakes, either his own or those of the person he loved, to rob him of the chance at a complete, fulfilling love. With every fiber of his being, he resolved to honor the principles he had set for himself, to remain vigilant yet open, to balance heart and mind, and to always seek the truth beneath the surface. In the quiet of his heart, Billy understood that true love required forgiveness, not just of others, but of oneself as well. It was a delicate dance between holding on and letting go, between learning from the past and embracing the possibilities of the future. And so, with determination in his eyes and hope in his heart, Billy chose to believe that Sally's past was not a sentence, but merely a chapter that could be rewritten by the grace of understanding, compassion, and the transformative power of love. As the days turned into weeks, Billy remained steadfast, nurturing the fragile, beautiful promise of their budding relationship. He knew that there would be challenges ahead, moments of doubt and hardship that would test the strength of their bond. Yet, he also believed that if they both committed to honesty, patience, and mutual growth, the shadows of the past would eventually give way to a future filled with light, a future where love, in all its complexity, could truly flourish. In this journey of love and redemption, Billy and Sally would discover that every soul is capable of change, and that sometimes, the most profound transformations come from facing the truth and daring to hope. Jill, Billy's ever-watchful mother, had long played the role of guardian of her son's heart. Ever since she had uncovered evidence from Sally's past, a past filled with tumult and reckless abandon, Jill had been monitoring every nuance of Billy's relationship. Though her intentions were rooted in love and protection, her revelations had added another layer of complexity to an already fragile situation. Now, with everything spiraling out of control, Billy realized that a gentle, heartfelt conversation with Sally was inevitable, a conversation that could redefine the course of their lives. Overwhelmed by conflicting emotions and the weight of their history, the two were at a crossroads. Their shared journey had brought them moments of tenderness, yet also a myriad of doubts. The stakes were high. If they could clear the air and realign their goals, happiness might be within reach. If not, the bond they had fought so hard to build risked shattering completely. The weight of the past and the promise of change. Billy was torn. On one hand, he saw in Sally a warmth and kindness that had drawn him in, a promise of a future where love could overcome past missteps. On the other, the evidence Jill had gathered painted a stark picture of the Sally who once roamed wild in Los Angeles, whose turbulent history had left scars not just on herself, but on everyone around her. The gentle, compassionate woman he now knew was at odds with that rebellious figure from her past. For Billy, the confrontation was about more than just reconciling with Sally's hidden past, it was about understanding their true purpose together. What did they want out of life? Why were they subjecting themselves to the trials of public scrutiny and internal turmoil? He realized that before they could build something lasting, they had to confront these questions head-on. A gentle conversation in a turbulent time in a quiet corner of their shared living space, where once passion had sparked and laughter had filled the air, Billy finally sat down with Sally. The conversation was delicate, marked by moments of pause as both struggled to find the right words in a situation laden with pain, regret, and hope. "Why are we doing this?" Billy began, his voice steady but soft. "What's our goal in all of this? I need to understand what you truly want, what you envision for us." His eyes, full of both hurt and longing, searched Sally's for answers. Sally took a deep breath, her hands trembling slightly as she gathered the courage to meet his gaze. "Billy, I know there's a part of my past that you've seen, something you wish I could change," she admitted. "But I'm not that woman anymore. I've learned, I've grown, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to build a future with you that's based on honesty and trust." Her voice wavered between remorse and determination, echoing the promise of a transformation that, while not instantaneous, was real. She continued, "I want you to see that every mistake, every regret, has led me to this moment. I need you to give me a chance to prove that I can be the partner you deserve. I won't let my past define me anymore. I promise that I'm working on changing, on being better for both of us." Billy listened, his heart pounding with conflicted emotions. He recalled the evidence that Jill had painstakingly provided, a narrative of wild nights, reckless decisions, and the painful fallout from a life lived on the edge. Yet here was Sally, baring her soul, pleading for an opportunity to rise above the mistakes of her youth. The crossroads of love and redemption. In that quiet moment, the conversation took on the weight of a pivotal choice. Billy recognized that Sally's plea was not just an appeal for forgiveness, it was an invitation to join her on a journey toward redemption. Together, they had the chance to redefine their relationship, to set a new course that was rooted in mutual understanding and shared aspirations. Billy's mind raced through memories of happier times, the soft laughter they had shared, the moments of genuine connection when it seemed that nothing could come between them. Those memories were now at odds with the harsh reality of Sally's past and the uncertainty of what lay ahead. "I need to believe that we can overcome this," he said finally. "That our love is strong enough to conquer everything, even the mistakes we've made and the shadows of our past." Sally reached out, her hand trembling as it found his. "Billy, I know it won't be easy," she whispered. "But I'm here, and I'm ready to fight for us. I don't want to be defined by who I was. I want to build a life with you, a life where our goals align and where we're not haunted by what used to be. I want us to work together, to understand each other's dreams and fears." Her words hung in the air, a fragile promise of change that begged for a second chance. Billy, in his heart, knew that love was often a battle between holding on to the past and embracing the future. The stakes were high. If they managed to come together, if they could forge a path of understanding and forgiveness, then happiness might truly be within reach. But if they faltered, if the wounds of yesterday proved too deep to heal, then the love they had so carefully nurtured would crumble, leaving nothing but regret in its wake. The role of Jill and the challenge ahead. Meanwhile, Jill's presence loomed like a silent guardian. Her involvement had been born out of love and a desire to protect her son, even if it meant exposing painful truths. Billy knew that Jill's evidence was a reminder of the risks that came with embracing a complex past. Yet, he also understood that every person deserves the chance to change, if they are willing to confront their demons and work tirelessly to overcome them. In that regard, Sally was making her case, not only through her words but through the visible transformation in her demeanor. She was no longer the wild, impulsive woman of her LA days. She was someone who had suffered, learned, and was striving to be better. It was a process that required time, patience, and an unwavering commitment to personal growth. A promise for the future. As the conversation drew to a close, Billy and Sally found themselves standing at a precipice, a place where the decisions of the present would shape the future of their love. In that moment of fragile connection, they made a quiet promise to each other, to work together to define what their life's goal would be, to ensure that every action, every decision, was guided by the desire for mutual happiness and understanding. Billy, with a mixture of hope and caution, vowed to give Sally the opportunity she was pleading for. He recognized that the path ahead would be fraught with challenges, that the scars of the past might resurface, but he also believed that their love, if nurtured with care and honesty, could be the very thing that healed those wounds. "Let's build something real," he said softly, his voice steady. "Let's focus on our future and not let the past dictate who we are. I want to see where this journey takes us. If we're willing to fight for it, I believe we can overcome anything." Sally smiled, a mixture of relief and determination lighting up her eyes. "I promise you, Billy," she replied. "I will do everything in my power to be the person you need me to be. I'll never be the same as I was, and I won't let you down. Our love can be our strength, and together, we can rise above all of this." The battle between love and destruction. Yet, even as they embraced this newfound commitment, the undercurrents of doubt and fear lingered. The road ahead was uncertain, and the ghosts of the past were not so easily exorcised. Every challenge they faced, every setback, would test the resilience of their bond. Their relationship was, at its core, a delicate balance, a battle between the promise of love and the risk of devastation. As they stepped forward together, Billy and Sally knew that the outcome of this struggle was not predetermined. Their love, like all great endeavors, required both passion and pragmatism, a willingness to forgive, to learn, and, above all, to remain true to the promise of change. In that pivotal moment, as they clung to each other and to the hope of a brighter future, they understood that the fight for their relationship was just beginning. The path would be long and fraught with obstacles, but the choice was clear: to either rise together above the challenges or allow the weight of their past to tear them apart. For now, they chose hope. They chose to believe that every trial could be a stepping stone toward a deeper, more genuine love, a love defined not by the mistakes of yesterday but by the promise of a shared, better tomorrow. And so, with hearts heavy with the scars of the past yet filled with cautious optimism, Billy and Sally embarked on the uncertain journey ahead, determined to prove that love, when nurtured with honesty and commitment, could indeed overcome even the most tumultuous of histories.